Leave your ego at the door. www.hoodmystic.com. Leave your ego at the door.
Peace, family. It's the Hood Mystic representing www.hoodmystic.com. Give me one moment. I'll be right back. Thank you for your patience. Peace. Just want to thank my sponsor for today, the people over at Spirit Box LLC. If you want to contact Spirit Box for spirit boxes, energy rings, crystal earrings, crystal rings, all official stuff, handmade, independent, young lady who is doing some doing her own thing, handcrafted jewels and things of that nature. Just want y'all to go over there and support her. Give me 1 second. So since this is our first daily energy reading, it's a little bit of a technical difficulty. Give me 1 second to sort this out and I'll be right back. This is live, so I appreciate y'all patience. Be right back. Peace. Okay, cool. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I don't necessarily know how the transmission is for you guys. Just happy to be back with you guys and go through this daily energy reading. The title of this video is Empty Your Cup. Got this from doing the astrology and just processing stuff over the past couple of days, experiences and things of that nature. Peace to everybody, man. What's up, brother? We live. We live. So yeah, just here to discuss this astrology past the technical difficulties. Yeah. So today is Wednesday. How we do the daily energy readings is we focus on a planet based upon the day that rules that planet. Mondays, generally the moon. Tuesday, Mars. Wednesday, Mercury. Thursday, Jupiter. Friday, Venus. And if we do Saturday and Sunday, that's Saturn and the sun respectively. But we try to cover Saturn and the sun on Fridays and Mondays and discuss the weekend. We do daily energy readings 5 times a week if allowed. Sometimes I get busy, sometimes, this, that, and the third. And we did these daily energy readings last year, daily. What happened was that I got a job and I was working this job and I was doing it for money to support my family. But what had happened was I don't feel like I completely lost myself, but I was losing myself. I was spending a majority of my days unhappy in this environment. And when I did the full moon article, you know, I was talking a lot of shit about how you need to let go and, toxic situations and things of that nature. Uh, I was talking that. And so Sunday, I had the thought that if I'm gonna be speaking something to the people about letting things go and, all of this shit, I need to be the one who acts that out, because maybe I'm not even talking to nobody but myself. And what type of person would I be if I'm telling people, oh, let this go, let this relationship go, let that toxic job go, and I'm at work, mad as shit that I'm there and just doing minion type of deal, like whatever it was making me unhappy. So Sunday was my last day, and from there, I've been trying to reorganize and rededicate my life to spirit. So I've been just straightening up the house, reorganizing my altars, rededicating myself to my spiritual path, and trusting that spiritual path. What's the outcome of this? I have no idea. Am I happier? Yes. Am I more at peace? Yes. Is the fear still residual? Like, what's going to happen around the corner? Yes. I have 3 young children that I find security in providing them that paycheck every week, but the cost of that was it was too much for me to bear. So the next thing for me to do is rededicate my life to my spirituality, rededicate my life to my readings and things like that. Uh, I'm okay with that, win, lose, or draw. And if it doesn't work out, then I know that I could go get me a job and take care of my family that way. But what I'm trying to do is be happy first, be a happy dad first. Uh, I want to be happy, and doing these lives, helping people, this truly makes me happy. The fact that I wasn't able to do it as much, it created a big sadness in my life, and me not trusting spirit is part of this 2019, the second half of it. The second half, I'm going to trust spirit and allow it to lead me wherever it's going to lead me, and I trust that it's going to be somewhere great. So that's my personal story. I got more things to discuss, but I guess we'll discuss it throughout the reading. But we want to discuss Mercury, and Mercury is in a precarious position, conjunct Mars, conjunct the North Node, conjunct the Ascendant, conjunct the World Descendant. If you had a baby born today, their Mercury, Mars, and North Node would be conjunct their Ascendant, and their Saturn, Pluto, Moon, and South Node would be conjunct the Descendant. So if you have an Ascendant oppose the Descendant, that's a real major crux in understanding who you are. If the Ascendant and the North Node all represent future tense, and the Descendant and South Node represent past tense, then we look at the planets connected to our future and our past. Mercury and Mars is saying, like I meant to put in the description, because I have some links in the description, also to our sponsor, Spirit Box. And I also have a link to the notes. I'll be uploading the notes to every video via my website, www.hoodmystic.com. So you can either go there or click the link in the description to check out the notes. We want to keep up with these daily energy readings. We want to keep track of what we're discussing, because I find that this energy is very real and very valid, especially in my own personal life. And once I begin to act on what the astrology is speaking to, then it makes more sense. So I'm inviting everyone to, if this information does resonate with you, if you do find yourself in toxic situations, then to kind of listen to this message, understand the astrology, and then begin to work with it. We all have a future and we all have a past. What Saturn and Pluto doing together, and mind you, Saturn and Pluto gonna be rocking together for the next couple of years, doing a lot of crazy things in the astrology. Saturn is the planet of transformation. And the thing about, I mean, not Saturn, Pluto is the planet of transformation. And the thing about Pluto's transformations is that it slowly changes you. So after a year or 2 years, you might look back at yourself in the realm of transformation and not even recognize who you are. So if we make this overall idea that I'm going to transform, I'm going to change, I'm going to do something different with my life, it might not be today that you notice this massive change. It might be 2 years from now where you'll say, what's going on, brother? What's going on? You want to get upstairs? We waiting for mom. Mom's on her way, okay? So in the idea of transformation is not something overnight. It's something that if you make a declaration within yourself, then over time you will change into that which you are transforming into. Pluto conjunct the descendant conjunct the North Node is that transformation of how you view yourself, how you view the world. And everybody has been inundated with ideas about themselves, about their worlds, about their lives, about everything. Like, we all just have ideas from our parents, from our grandparents, from our jobs, from our friends. It's so much information that we have in our brains and that comes out of our mouths. And when we discuss spirituality, this is something that I had to learn about spirituality, and it may not apply to anything else in life, but it's a point of starting over and being fresh and being renewed and recycling your energy, reprocessing your energy. Where most people are caught up in the same old things, the same monotony. You famous, bro. It's important to recycle these ideas, and that's what Mercury conjunct the ascendant conjunct the North Node is really indicating. Okay, we can do some different things. We could do a lot of great things. It's representing potential, and potential feels good. Potential makes us happy, but potential is actually nothing, right? Potentially, I could be all types of things, but the thing that I most certainly will be, or the thing that I certainly will substantiate, is the things that I act upon. So even in this time where we are making giant steps, evolutionary turns in our consciousness, it has to be met with a particular action. If there were certain ideas that I had in my mind which represent potential, but these things cause me stress. The reason why they caused me stress was because I was not acting on them. So in this talk, we discussed Mercury conjunct Mars opposed the moon, but we're also going to talk about Chiron conjunct the midheaven and what that could mean to us and how is that showing up in our personal lives. Mercury is able to release you. Mercury is able to release you from all types of burdens. Mercury is the energy that you petition when you're low on funds and you need an idea. Speaking on this is triggering a dream that I heard something where it was like these people were doing a money spell and this deity had appeared out of nowhere and he was like, these people were like, oh, we want money, we need money. And the deity was like, so you expect money to just fall out the sky? And they were like, yeah, we want money to fall out the sky. And the deity was like, well, it doesn't necessarily work like that. Figure out a way that this money will manifest for you, whether it's lottery tickets, whether it's through your business, whether it's through a pay increase at work. But figure out how you're going to make this money and then petition me and I can help you. But if you're expecting money to just fall out the sky, then don't petition me. Don't ask me for anything, because we don't necessarily work like that. Of course, you can have all the money in the world. Of course, you can do all of the things that you want to do, but you have to have a medium. You have to have a modality for this energy to begin to work through you. This might be completely contradictory to what spiritual people speak to, especially when it's like, oh, I did this ritual and I got this money out of nowhere. And it's like, well, okay, when that money is gone, then you'll have to do that ritual all over again. What we're trying to set up is the idea of residual income, the idea of passive income, the idea of money always flowing. And these ideas that we could begin to initiate into our lives are very simple to implicate. The problem with it is this full cup that everybody is presenting themselves with. Everybody has a full cup. Everybody has intentions. Everybody just knows what it is to know, and they know what they need to do. But every 2 months or so, they need a reading as well, which is kind of contradictory to everybody just knows he's the one. This is the perfect job. I'll never find nothing better than this. This is the ultimate of ultimates. Something that we say to ourselves to cope with the fact that that's not necessarily true. We can find all that we want. We could do all that we want to do. It's just that we have to pour out of that cup, pour out the cup of past experiences. Your past is filled with doubt. Your past is filled with lack. Your past is filled with fear. Your past is filled with pain. Your past is filled with misunderstandings. Your past is filled with confusion. And then all of this is your cup. If I give you new information or new ideas about passive income, working together, connecting, growing your business, becoming prosperous, all of the good things that life has to offer you, it doesn't register. It doesn't even penetrate the core of your being, because the water in your cup or the fluid in your cup is too full. And the fluid in your cup, it don't even make you happy. And it's very easy to just pour out everything, to just start over. Come to life with an empty cup. Liberate yourself from the past, so any new information that you trying to accept, that you trying to implement, you can easily accept it. And be very mindful of the information that you want to accept moving forward. Okay, I'm emptying my cup now, Hood Mystic, but now I'm adding the same fear, pain, doubt, anxiety, fear that was in my cup previously. Well, that's defeating the purpose. If one was to empty their cup, one would have to have a whole new way of how to operate in their lives. Even as I'm saying it, I feel the disconnect or that ego that I'm not about to get rid of this shit that I have. I'm not gonna pour out my cup. I'm not gonna be fresh. I'm not gonna treat this day as a completely new day, and I need to learn as like from a baby's perspective. I learned a lot from my youngest child, because we're not communicating like everybody else. We communicate on a different level. We communicate through sign language. He can speak to me and I know what he's feeling by this means come pick me up. This means I'm hungry. I That to me, like that, like I learned from this young man because he's showing me two things: that children are completely different now than they were in the past, and he's letting me know that he's going to be great and to protect him and to guide him into greatness, because he's great already. He's 9 months old, climbing up the steps. He won't climb down the steps. He'll understand, okay, that's a ledge. I'm not gonna cross that ledge. And my older kids, it wasn't until 18 months where they really learned, okay, I can't do this or I can't do that. John is completely different. And not to say he's better or worse, because all my kids are great in their own special way, but this is a different type of situation. And in discussing the moon, in discussing our maternal instincts, we have to transform those ideas. In the moment, the moon is a fast moving planet throughout the constellation. It touches on each and every aspect within the realm of 28 days. So emotionally, we can connect with the idea of releasing the karma of relationships. Your relationships can or cannot be an indication of you, and it's all relative to the moment. If you have healed from the past, if you have healed from trauma, if you have healed from negative relationships, you don't necessarily know until you face to face in that relationship. It's real easy to say, oh, I've healed, oh, I've gotten over this, oh, I moved on from you. But the moon conjunct the descendant could very well possibly bring those things up to you to see if in fact you've really moved on. And if you have moved on, Saturn tends to say, this person has reached the level so we could free them from this particular bondage, or we could free them from this particular situation. So Pluto and Saturn, you can kind of tell these are very masculine, very old school type of planets. So if we're going to have some type of freedom or some form of release, it's going to have to be real. And the only way that we know if it's real, if we're put up against it. Another thing that Saturn and Pluto presents to us is a connection to our masculine ancestral energy. My great grandfather has been coming through to me very strongly, very, very strongly. What had happened was we had found this park north of Columbus in Delaware called High Banks. And we found out that there were like some earthworks there. And our idea was to go and visit these earthworks. We went there one day, ended up walking for like 2 miles, found 1 mile, and we were like, okay, there's 2 more that we need to get to, but we're not gonna go today. So a couple days later, we hit the trail again and we get lost. It's a big park. It's many different paths that you can take. So in picking the right path to get to the mound is kind of tricky. So long story short, it took us 4 tries to touch all of the mounds and all of the earthworks. Yesterday, we finally reached Orchard Mound, which was the last mound in the park. And what I do at the mounds, I used to go to the top and feel a certain type of way. But now where I get the energy from going to the mounds is circumventing the mound at the bottom. So walking around the perimeter of the mound gives me the most energy. And then from there, I walk to the top. And so I walk to the top, I'm holding John, and I'm sitting there and I'm meditating. And then something said, just sit here and wait till something happens. So I'm sitting there meditating. Me and John, well, it starts to rain. And when it starts to rain, these fairies, My wife was there with me. We bear witness to these fairies on the mound start coming down out of nowhere. And from there, when I know that my work is right at the mounds, I get emotional. I've been moved to tears, for not like it's very powerful going to these mounds and honoring them and venerating them. Like, I've been going to them for a lot, but now that I'm going and I've kept going and I've like kept up this practice, I start crying, like, just moved to tears. We've done ritual, and soon as we're done with the ritual, eagles start coming, over us. And, having that connection to earth and then having that connection to nature, it is a real thing. And all I can say is that it makes me cry. And I don't even cry. But it's not even like a painful cry. It's like all of this work that I've been doing for honoring this ancestral lineage that exists, we could all bear witness to, but it seems as though I'm the only one that cares. Where I feel like we all should be at the mounds giving honor and praise to our ancestors, the ancestors that were murdered by the European regime that invaded this country not too long ago and wiped away all of our history, memories, and past. And now we left in a world where we have to acquiesce to a culture and a life that's not of our own. And then reconnecting to that on my own. Like, nobody's telling me you should go to the mounds. I feel that pressure within myself. Even if it's okay, family, we going to the mound. Family, we gonna hike through some woods. It's gonna be very, very tough. And they be with it, you know what I'm saying? And carrying John, he's like 21 pounds, and walking up and down these hikes is not easy. But the reward from honoring the ancestors is a gift. And from there, I think after we left the mound, I had so many different channels and so many different ideas that I was talking my wife's head off. So I was like, man, I have to I have to start these lives again, because I'm not about to talk my wife to death and have her hating me because I won't shut up. So I appreciate you guys for taking the time to come down here and listen to me speak this spiritual experience. So the idea, if I was too caught up in everything that was inundated to me in the conscious community about what God is and what God does, and God is a man and God is a woman, and in the Bible, it says that God made us in our image. But if we are God, then we made God in our image. The idea of God don't even have nothing to do with nothing of that. The idea of God is the idea of nature connecting to spirituality. And now we're living in this space and time. One of the most, I think, resonant channels that I got was understanding that the physical world and the spiritual world are deeply synonymous, and our fantasies and our astral projections are not spiritual at all. It's just a wild fantasy that brings nothing into reality. Only when you can engage in the physical is when you can fully engage in the spiritual. And I know that's a difficult concept to wrap your head around, but this is just something that I received from spirit. So when it comes to my spiritual pursuit, it is engaged in the world. Now, my thing is mounds. Your things could be rivers, oceans, trees, rainforests. The list goes on and on. But when you are connected to something, when something does resonate with you, when you are studying, when you are processing something and it feels good, follow that, because that's the information that we need. And we are not to scour the internet for the greatest hot shit known to man. We are to scour the earth So many of us are confined to our homes, to these square block buildings, and we do rituals in these homes. But the way that the home is set up with these 90-degree angles is set up to block the energy. Now, all of the shit that you're doing in your house, you could go into nature and do the same shit. And there is no 90-degree angles out in nature. There is no 90-degree angles out in the world. So that energy begins to just spread. And it connects to the roots of the trees. And the trees has a whole network. And that energy, it sticks. And I'm not saying that doing work in your home is negative, but I'm just saying that the way that it's set up is just limited. You can spread this energy out far and wide when you get outside and do the same work. And doing the work simply in your backyard at night, is much more powerful than doing the work daytime or within the house. Finally, we want to talk about, I said that this video was going to be 10 minutes. And I just don't have that in me. Chiron conjunct the midhaven is hoping for you to put yourself out there and be vulnerable. Now, my moon is in the 10th house, 10th house cusp. I've been on the internet since I was 16. Shit. I'm 34 now. I'm gonna be 35 this year. Wow. Wow. I'm gonna be 35 this year. And so 16 years of being on the internet, that would be 19 years of being on the internet. When Facebook was beta, I was on Facebook. When Twitter was beta, I was on Twitter. Social media, I was on ICQ, AOL, Instant Messenger, what else? All types of shit. I've been enamored by the internet since it was created. In 1996, the Boston Library had their first internet computer, and I monitored and tracked when they was gonna get that computer. And the first day that they got the computer, I was the first person to sign up. That's how serious I was about the internet and computers and things like that. I say all that to say that I'm a natural 10th house person. I'm a moon and 10th house person to my core. I don't mind people knowing things about me. I don't have shit to hide. I'll put myself out there for the world to see. There's a lot of negative things about my past. There's a lot of scary things about my past. There's a lot of fucked up shit about my past. But within that, I have nothing to hide. Any question that you have for me, feel free to ask it. Because I want you to be clear on the person that I am, especially if we're going to do business, especially if we're going to be partners. And I need the same from you. The problem is people don't want to put themselves out there because they are afraid to be vulnerable because they have things to hide. So much is going on about privacy and protecting your privacy and things of that nature. It's already, you don't have privacy unless you get rid of your TV, unless you get rid of your phone, unless you get rid of your smartwatch, unless you live completely off the grid, then you are monitored. At the end of the day, it don't really necessarily matter when you fully in tune to what you need to be doing. We could be predictive and wonder what's bad about to happen and all of this, but all of this prevents us from being vulnerable. All of this prevents us from putting ourselves out there and being consistent. You don't think that people judge me negatively? What I notice is that if 20 people judge me negatively, then that means it's probably 200 to 2,000 people that's there for my support. I find that it's very important to understand that if you don't got haters, then you're not really doing nothing. When you speaking in truth, people gonna get real mad because truth to people who are not in truth just sound like crazy talk. They're afraid of what bad's gonna happen. They don't want massa to come down and hit them with a whip. And this is where we're at. But I say all of that to say this: if we want to be successful, then we have to have a level of transparency. People should be able to see who you are and then make a conscious decision. The reason that I'm even somewhat successful or even able to be who I am is because I don't have shit to hide. And the more that I reveal, the more that I get the negativity out of my system, and then I'm more of an empty cup. You know, I'm not the person that I once was because I've released that. And still, I'm in a space where people may judge me on my previous contents. People may judge me from the past. Oh, you sold drugs. Oh, you did this. Oh, you did that. Oh, you ran the streets and this, that, and the third. And I seen you do all of these bad things. And that is true. But now I have a different vibration. Now I have the true intention of providing spiritual aid to people who are seeking spiritual aid. In that space, I need to put myself out there. In that space, I need to be vulnerable. In that space, if people get mad for me promoting my businesses and promoting my family and promoting my friends, please block me and please unsubscribe me. Because how I see it is, this is what we ought to do. We ought to barter. We ought to trade. We ought to exchange in commerce with one another. Or else, what are we doing? You know, are we just looking at each other like mannequins? You know, not really engaging, not really feeding each other with proper energy. So, with all that being said, let's attempt to summarize this all. Taking a look at the moon in this third decan of Sagittarius, by the end of the day, it will be up into Capricorn, where this energy begins to elevate. This energy begins to escalate. And as this energy elevates and escalate, you have the choice of escalating what you want. This could be subconscious because we're dealing with the moon. So it could be a particular vibe. I'm mad, I'm angry, I'm pissed, I'm this, I'm that. And that's going to get on. This is what you're putting on the esoteric escalator. You're going to rise that anger up. You're going to rise that madness up. You're going to rise that confusion up. But if we are to, because the moon could be considered a cup, if we're emptying that moon, or if we're emptying that, if we're working with this waning moon, then we're releasing ourselves from the negativity, and we're allowing ourselves to put positivity in that cup. And then let's put that in Capricorn. Let that positivity rise up. Very simple. But understanding the moon, understanding its subconscious, and deeply, very deep, because fear, we can have fear of the future, and that would be everything that we need for us not to do anything at all. I'm afraid of what's gonna happen. But in the same space, this is your freedom. In the same space, this is how you get out this matrix. So, yeah, Lamar, you like to overshare, and that's okay. At first it could be a little bit overwhelming, to be honest, but getting to know you, I understand that you have a pure heart, and it don't matter. You know, I'm used to it now. It don't even affect me. And I kind of wish more people were like you, Lamar, to be honest, because so many people are short and not really clear with what they're trying to communicate. And it's a whole bunch of expectations in what they're trying to say. You put it out very clear, so I wouldn't look at it as a bad thing, Lamar. I would look at it as just this is who you are, and this is how you get people to know you. And if they can't accept you for you, that's perfectly fine. But continue to be yourself, because what you will find is somebody's going to feel that 10th house energy and really appreciate it, because you got to also distribute that 10th house energy as well. Just like me talking my wife to death, and her eyes glazing over, and I'm just like, okay, I need to figure out, I need to get some new friends. Speaking of my wife, altercreations.net, that's her website. We are rebranding and getting some things together for that. Also, hit her up for any type of womb health questions. She is the womb master. I'm not only a client, I am the president of her womb society. Trust me. When it comes to fertility, when it comes to vaginal moisture and just all types of things related to womb health, fibroid, cysts, all of the things that you may, period length. She's real good at lowering the period time length. So many things. The womb is connected to the mind, and the mind is connected to your peace. So you could do everything on God's green earth that you could do spiritually. If you don't do the womb, then it's kind of like, you painting over an old school that ain't got a new engine. So it got rims on it, it's painted, the interior is nice, but you ain't even gonna make it around the corner because you ain't redo the engine. We was taught if we was gonna flip cars or redo old schools, the first thing we had to do is work on the engine. And spiritually, esoterically, for the woman or the womb man, that would be the actual womb. So contact my wife, Phoenix Nova, altercreations.net. IG Chantian, I think, or I don't know. Contact me, email me. I give you all the information about my wife, hoodmystic@gmail.com. Also, paypal.me/thehoodmystic, Cash App, hoodmystic38. All the links are in the descriptions. I'll be back tomorrow to discuss Jupiter sextile Neptune and what that all what's that's all talking about. We got a T square with Jupiter, Uranus, and Neptune, which I find is very interesting and speaks to a lot of the energy that's going on in the world. But we back, baby. Daily energy readings. Hopefully that was beneficial for you. Be sure to comment, be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, be sure to share, and also check out Spirit Box, our sponsor. Since I'm doing this full time, I am looking for sponsors, people who want to promote their products, goods, and services. The thing about this, if you ain't about to buy an energy ring or a crystal stud or a crystal ring, that's perfectly fine. But please follow her on Instagram, Cali_Ife, and please tell her that the Hood Mystic sent you just to help with this sponsorship. And so we can be like, okay, I was on Hood Mystic's website and I went to Instagram and I followed Cali based on your website, and this is how we grow. Trust me, I'm just trying to grow. So, I mean, and it ain't even like, oh, just give her money. You gonna get some quality products, one of a kind products that ain't nobody gonna have, and it's gonna be independent. Like, you supporting an independent person that's trying to make it, trying to support their kids. And I find that that's very important, especially in this life where we go to department stores and we spend hundreds of thousands, at least millions of dollars on corporations who don't give a fuck about you, and they not even going to support these children. So let's support small businesses. Let's support our people who actually out here. And even if you don't got no money to support, it don't cost shit for you to go on the Instagram and follow Cali_Ife. The link is in the description. Please tell her that Hood Mystic sent you. And this has been the daily energy reading for June 19th. I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.